style, everyone. It is. It's what fucking Valkyrie Robot is what you're listening to right now. Your friendly neighborhood Gundam podcast. I'm Max, I use he, him pronouns, and with me, as always, is Jake.
I'm Jake. I also use he, him pronouns.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Max.
Remember when people were like, "Oh, fucking Gundam Double Zeta. This is a silly, dumb show. There's no stakes. It's Looney Tunes. It's just a fun, silly goof-em-up show about some kids running around with big old robots shooting pew pew pow. Nothing. Yeah, it's not serious.
It's not serious at all. There's no reason to watch this one. There's nothing worth watching.
Do you think, Jake? Do you think that they might have been sending a message when the opening of the show stopped saying that it's not anime when people started dying? I think there might be some sort of significance there.
You might be onto something. I can see that.
Yeah, it's no longer anime Janai. It is now silent voice, and I very much like this song. It's like, it's the current opening. It's been the opening since episode 26, so one of the ones we did last week. But it's cool. It's very emotional, very sad, but it's just still, it just still has that good like Gundam OP flavor. It's just like, love to see it. Reuses like a ton of footage from Anime Janai, but like whatever, it's fine. It's it's a good opening.
Hell yeah, I only listened to it a couple times, but I don't have as much to say musically. I never have really, but I enjoy it. It's a good one.
Oh, I mean, I have a podcast about music, and I don't really ever have anything to say musically.
You are way more insightful than I could ever hope to be on music. Mm-hmm. I very much enjoy listening to that podcast.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I don't really appreciate what the writers have done to the show right now. I mean, let me say, I appreciate it from a writing standpoint. I think it is very, very good, but also, yeesh,
I got a little bit of a theory once we get to the end here about maybe something else is going on, but we'll get there when we get there.
I love to hear a theory. Well, Jake, as we always do, we talk about, I say always. I was going to say we always talk about 3 episodes a week, but last week we only talked about 2. But that's right at our course, and we'll be able to do a solid 3 all throughout the rest of the series. And let me tell you, Jake, about the first of the 3 episodes that we watched this week. Episode 27 of Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ. Lena's Blood, Part 1. You fucking love to see a character's blood, and then there's gonna be 2 parts of this bullshit. Fucking fantastic.
What a title.
Okay. So, Jake, I'll tell you what, in this episode, the Gundam team make it to Dakar as a Neo-Zeon military parade is ongoing. They plan to attack at night when the banquet party is happening to rescue Lena. Judo flies ahead directly to the State House where the party is being held as the Gundam team fire on the city. Haman and Glemmy try to convince their guests that this battle is merely a Neo-Zeon military demonstration. Judo successfully infiltrates the party, but before he can get to Lena, Haman finds him. He is shot in the shoulder, and then Lena arrives to try and protect him. In a struggle, Haman shoots Lena, which causes Judo to fully unleash his new type aura, sending Haman fleeing in hysterics. He manages to escape with a wounded Lena. As the battle rages on, the Audhumla arrives with crowd of reinforcements, but Judo is shot down and lands in the ocean. Holy fuck.
There is so much going on, and somehow you just put it down to just a couple minutes there, but
that's it. The thing that is, like, my episodes really don't have a lot of notes for this one, because I noticed that with these episodes, like, there's a lot of fighting here. It is like, at least the first two, it is like mostly battles, honestly. Like, most of the second one, but like, it's one of those where like, not a lot happens, but the stuff that does happens, everything happens so much. Yeah, exactly. It's quantity over quality. Other way around, quality over quantity, you know what I mean?
It's dense.
It's dense! So how does this one start out,
Jake?
Jake?
Packed with nutrients.
Yummy.
So it starts off, there's fireworks shooting off in the middle of the day over Dakar, and Lena is standing on a balcony outside her window at the state guest house, just watching. She's all dressed up and just kind of watching the fireworks going off. It's
fucking. Is it? Oh no, I guess it's not. For some reason, I was like, wait a minute, my notes say it's a battle. No, just kidding. It's not. I thought it was a battle. It is just midair fireworks because this is during the parade. I was very confused. I was like, wait a fucking minute, I was wrong as usual.
It is weird to see fireworks in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it's really not impressive because it just looks like you're just exploding like shells, You gotta wait for it to be nice so you can get the colors. But yeah, Lena's watching this all happen, and like she kind of like backs away from the window, and like she knocks over a vase on a stand, and like trying to pick it up, she cuts herself, and hey, look, it's Lena's blood. Do you get it?
That's the only reason the title's called that.
That's the worst thing that happens in these episodes. But yeah, this is all for basically a Neo Zeon like triumphant military parade. We see Widow Maneva Zabi doing the princess wave.
She's in the Popemobile.
She's in the Popemobile. She's in the Popemobile doing the princess wave. She's Space Pope. Well, actually, I mean, fucking Amana's Cubeblade, so it kind of parallels. It's cinematography to me. It's just very, very silly, and we see a couple of the Gundam team members. They're just in an alley in Dakar watching, and like Rue sees Glemmy, and she's just like, motherfucker.
Yeah, she's like, okay, let's go. After like,
we have to leave now. I just fucking every single time Glemmy does, like, Glemmy has been escalating ever since we first saw him, and I still think it's so funny. The very first time I saw Glemmy, I was like, oh, is this guy gonna fucking die? This episode he gets introduced, and then it's like, this is the most important character in the show. I'm like, what?
Yeah, seriously, I recognized his name from from those old PS3 games that I used to play. Yeah. So I was like, he's going to be important. I didn't realize this important.
Yeah, he's going to be less important, more pivotal. And
there we go.
Yeah. But then we cut over to the rest of the Gundam team. It's Judo and L. They're basically doing recon in the city. They're at like, some rocks using binoculars. And they plan to strike at night during the party. And Judo sort of asks L, he's like, hey, after we rescue Lena, can you quit the Gundam team and like take care of her? So like, I won't keep on fighting. I know you finish this war, but like, I don't want Lena to be around in it.
And he says a line that really gets me. He says, I want to scare the crap out of these selfish adults. And I was like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, not to part the kimono too much. He certainly fucking does. But yeah, we would cut over again. Glemmy's talking to Lena, and Lena's in her dress and everything, and he's like, tonight is the night you're making your big debut for this fucking Zeon military social function, I guess. You've completed your cotillion with flying marks, Lena. Congratulations.
And he's like, I hope it'll be a wonderful memory for you. And I was like, bro, you
made her do this?
You realize she's a prisoner, right? Like,
she's a prisoner!
This isn't a fancy party for her. This is where her cell's at tonight.
I hope you appreciate that I'm making you do this. You love to see it, don't you, Lena? It's like fucking figure it out, homie. Not great. And then we just kind of cut over. It's the nighttime, right? Judo's in the cockpit. He gets into his core, and he's like trying to take off, and Pull is like, fuck, Judo's leaving. I gotta go with him. And Elle is like literally holding her back and like slapping her to like prevent her from fucking, flying off the handle as usual.
And then we see Haman walking out with Widow Maneva and Glimmy and Pull.
Haman's outfit in this scene, though.
Yeah.
She's a girl boss. She has lipstick. Her hair is like slightly flattened. It's not the usual like flared out the sides it usually is. It's like it's like a medium between her weird wet pool hair and her normal space hair. But like she's styling. She's styling. She's wearing lipstick. She's wearing this like very slick like black and white dress. Like she looks. I mean, not to fucking hand it to her, but she's certainly she's got the 3 Gs. She's gaslighting, she's gatekeeping, and she is girl bossing, and we all should stand her for it. Simply my choice.
And she introduces Maneva to the crowd as the leader of Neo Zeon, and she says some like nonsense about how Maneva has been praying day and night for hope and peace between the colonies and Earth.
Blah blah blah. It's all pontification, but yeah, she's like, look at this little baby. She's the leader. Everyone loves her, and everyone's like, oh, she's baby, and everyone's applauding. But then it's a really weird shot because they're applauding, and like the lights all cut out, and it's only the hands that are glowing that we see. And Lena is like, what the fuck? Lena doesn't like this.
No, she's like kind of grabbing her head and is like, what is going on?
Hello? Nuh-uh. It's just yeah. She's not having a good time, and then we get like a very short cut over scene of like the Gundam team where they're all like silently flying to Dakar. They're all like they're clearly very nervous and like they're sweating in the cockpits, but not really saying anything. They're just like, it's fucking it's game time now.
And Glimmy is explaining to Lena, he's like, these people here that are talking to Haman and Maneva are the Earth Federation leaders, and this is just a great coming together of us. And in Lena's head, she's like, but didn't they just want us all dead like yesterday?
Yeah. Ah, you see, we're in the state house now. It's fine. And Lena starts like freaking out now. She's like, everything's turning blue. She sees like this like weird ass psychic ghost, and she's like, fucking everyone is lying and brown nosing. This is what adults are like. And like she's like kind of like looks like she's feeling faint. It's like, yeah, me fucking too. And I have to do important adult shit. No, thank you, girl. Not for me.
She kind of like falls into Glimmy's arms, and then we cut to Pol and Mondo and the Mega Rider.
Yeah, and yeah.
Pol's just playing with buttons. You know, just an okay thing to do in this weapon of war.
If I see a button, I'm gonna press it. What's the problem?
And Mondo's like, don't shoot that right now. And she's like, but I wanna. Don't do it.
How about I do anyway?
And they argue for a while, and then she just boop. She just shoots a huge beam right towards the town.
Yeah, just fucking blast and like zooms by the state house. And you know, right before this happens, Lena gets like a new type flash. She's like, "This isn't right. I don't want to grow up to be an adult." And a finger on the monkey's paw curls, and then like the shot hits the city, and like everyone's in the fucking state house is freaking out. And it's like it's really interesting how much of a new type Lena is in these episodes. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's like, because we really didn't, like, we got a little bit of that when Judo would try to rescue her the fucking 5 times that happened. But, like, these 2 episodes, it's really, like, lead of new type hours. This is when, you know, Haman is like, all according to Keikaku. You see, Earth Federation fuckers, this is a presentation that Neo Zeon is going to put on for you to show you that we're good at fighting. And then she signals to Glemmy, and Glemmy's like, hit it, boys! And the orchestra starts playing.
Yeah, I was watching this play and I was just like, you dumbass. You're just going to tell her, be like, oh yeah, no, we planned for the Karaba squad to come over here so we could just, so we could fight them. Don't worry, everything is totally safe.
Yeah, famous last words. And Glemmy tells Haman to take Lemonade away, he'll handle all of this. And, you know, once again, proving his competence, you love to see it. And, let's see. There's more fighting, and Judo sort of like Judo's flown ahead at this point, right? Because like, Al and Rue and Bicha and Mondo and Ino are all back there. They're all fighting in the town, or in the city itself, and Judo's landing by the state house, and he kind of gets caught by a guard, and like, what are you doing here? And he's like, a mobile suit just crashed over there, and he points them, and they just run off, just like, fucking good, stupid, I love goons who don't know what they're doing.
And as he comes up to the state house, and it's surrounded by this big fence, he thinks for a minute, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to climb this tree? Mm-hmm. And then he sees Rue flying overhead. He's like, oh, hey. And just kind of like waves her down. And she just clicks with him immediately because she knows exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
She transforms and like tackles a mobile suit and just knocks it through the fence. And
yeah,
like, it's yes, thank you.
It's so fucking funny. She sees a dodge and she's like, it's free real estate. And just like rams and knocks the entire ass fence down. It's like, it's so funny. Rue's like, all right, get it, homie. It's very, very fun. And yeah, Judo's like, oh, thank you. And he runs in. And like Lena's like new type flashing and she's fielding Judo nearby. And she's like running around. And everyone's like, oh, do you need help? And she's like, I can handle myself. Like, you know, I know where I'm going. And like no one questions her, which is cool. Lena's also being a girl boss. We love it.
And we see Glimmy talking to some of the feds about taking over Jupiter's helium farming operations. And I don't know if that's just like set dressing, world building, or whatever, or if that's going to lead to something in the future. But I thought it was worth pointing out.
No, yeah, okay. So specifically, Paptimus in Zeta, he was in charge of one of the helium farming ships. His ship was the it was called the it's on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, he had a helium farming ship. So like, you know, I think it's showing that like, yeah, Axis is making more of a move on different like Titans organizations. So, you know, Glemmy's going to get that, which is, you know, whatever. That's interesting. I understand that, you know, it all really has to take place in Earthsphere, but like, it'd be cool to see other planets and stuff. And then again, that's really what Iron-Blooded Orphans is, because it's on Mars for a lot of the time. But yeah, I do like that they still have this universe of like, yeah, there's like weird shit outside of the asteroid belt, but like we don't really need to go there a whole lot because it's just like very dangerous and not really worth our time. But it's, you know, it's just a cute little bit of world building there.
And and then Selena runs up to him and she's like, hey, I'm not feeling well. He tells her to go rest in her quarters, and he's like, let me get someone to escort you. She goes, no, I can go alone.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that Glenn schmoozing up to is like, oh, you've taught her to be such a refined young lady.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh.
But yeah, she's gone and she excuses herself. And then like Haman is like, oh, that motherfucking kid is here again, isn't she? So she goes off. She knows him. And then, like, the very next scene, Judo's running up a flight of stairs, and Haman is just there with a gun.
She kind of monologues at him a little bit. She's like, do you not realize it? The men and women who came to this party and wagged their tails at Neo Zeon, they are the very root of the evil that defiles the earth. They
polluted it by simply just continuing to rebuild after all the wars, all the... Oh, God. They polluted Earth by rebuilding so much after all the wars. And, basically by doing that, they're basically saving themselves, but further damaging the Earth. And it's some very, like, kind of calling back to Char's ideology in Zeta a little bit. Because, a lot of what he justified his actions is like, yeah, it's because they're polluting the Earth. So it's like, I figure this is the kind of ideology that they both made back when they were both in Axis hanging out. So it's interesting to sort of see that resurface. I don't know. I don't really think it'll go anywhere. It doesn't seem like it'll go anywhere, at least for Double Zeta, because I feel like Double Zeta has different themes it's kind of dealing with. But like, it's a welcome change. It's like, yeah, or not a change, but like it's a welcome callback to like, yeah, remember this? This is still relevant. This is still what Haman believes, even if she doesn't really, we don't really see Neo Zeon fighting for an ideology as much as we see Neo Zeon just like fighting for supremacy. Like, yeah, we're going to take over both Federation and the Titans, or we're going to take down both Ayug and the Titans. So it's just like, again, just more of like, yeah, she's a character. Just don't forget that when, shit pops off in a couple of minutes.
And she's kind of like telling him all of her ideology. And she says at the end, she's like, you know what, I'm with you. I feel able to speak my mind without hesitation.
Stop hitting on the boy.
And he's like, I'm not going to be your man. I'm not. I'm just
like,
not going. It's not happening.
Nasty old lady. But she's like, oh, it's you're a new type. And she talks about how he shouldn't, always rely on his instinct and emotions. And like, it's a shame that he had to betray her. And then she just like fucking shoots him in the shoulder.
He goes, I don't care about new types. I just want to save Lena.
And she's like, then perish. And she shoots him. And at this point, fucking, hey, Lena's here. And she rolls up and she like is like trying to stand in front of Judo. And Haman is like, she's your weakness.
And I was like, yeah, you didn't realize that already?
Yeah, you knew that she was his sister. Glemmy told you this. Like, I don't know. It's just like whatever. The point is, now the main players are in the room together at this point. So yeah, we cut over, we see more fighting in the city, and a mobile suit sort of like crashes nearby, and it like shakes the entire building, and like this next scene happens in like, it almost looks like a slideshow, because it's just like frame by frame, because we see Judo like dive at Haman and try and like grab the gun out of her hands. What happens next?
So she pushes him away, and Lena jumps in between them again, and Haman shoots at Judo. But since Lena's there, she shoots her in the side.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't... I feel like it's kind of misleading. I think that she got shot more in the stomach, maybe. Or, like... I don't know. I feel like she got shot and it hit, like, something more important than just, like, grazing her side. Because you see, like, a little bit of her dress tear on the side.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't see blood or anything in that one shot. But, like, my understanding is that, like, since Lena's so, like, kind of fucked up afterwards, I feel like Lena got hit a lot more, in a worse way than it would seem.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, again, it's kind of unclear, because Judo gets shot... Okay, Train, hello. Because, Judo gets shot in the shoulder, like, right beforehand. We don't see blood either, but you can kind of tell that, like, yeah, he got shot in the arm, but he's kind of fine about it. So, either way, it's not very clear. I don't know if they're allowed to show, like, the blood of someone getting shot like that. But I tell you what, they're certainly allowed to show the blood of someone after they get shot, because Judo says, this episode is called Lena's Blood Part 1, and then he sees the blood in her hands. And Judo says, today I will go apeshit.
So everything in the shot, just everything turns red, and there's this loud, audible heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Just dun dun, and it cuts to the city where the other kids are fighting, and dun dun, and they can like feel it as well.
Feels this,
and they start hearing it, and they don't know what it is, and then boom boom, and it cuts back to like Pole being able to tell that it's from Judo, and then boom boom, and it's back to him, and he's basically going Super Saiyan, and
it's insane.
She shoots at him again, and misses, or maybe it deflects. It's not super clear. Probably just misses.
I don't know, because like I think it's a little of column A, a little of column B, because at this point his aura is like starting to actually manifest into like a fucking like ghostly demon judo hovering above him, and like Haman is like this. I mean, this scene is shocking for a million different reasons, right? But like I think the most shocking thing about it is that Haman, this insanely powerful new type who can use her, use the new type pressure, basically like push anyone around her down, is like scared for her life right now. She is like screaming and shooting at the air above Judo. She is like losing her fucking mind, and it's like genuinely a scary scene.
And we cut back to like outside of the building, and Ino can see like this image of Judo just standing above the building.
He's fucking. He's projecting. He's projecting himself. It's so scary. Ah!
And at this point, Haman just turns and she runs into her room. Past like the guards try to stop her, and she just like runs in there, and she's
like
just cowering
wailing,
over her
screaming.
bed.
Oh my god, she's like sweating bullets and shaking. She's like, this pressure, I can't compete with this. Like, it's just like the fucking. We knew Judo was a new type, but I didn't realize he was like a new type like this.
A walking bomb.
It's interesting. I forget who it was that tweeted this. I think it might have been Tom from Mobile Suit Breakdown, but. In every Gundam series, there is like a sort of demonic, almost like new type vision. The one from Mobile Suit Gundam 79 was Dozle Zabi had one when he was like outside the Big Zam, being like, "All right, fucker, come fight me." We see it in Zeta when I don't know if it's Haman fighting. I think it might be Haman fighting Camille. But like Haman manifests her aura as like sort of like herself, but like these weird like sort of like wispy like wings and tail, like looks like some weird like spirit bird. And in this, not only do we get that first like freaky demon shot of Haman when Judo runs into her in Axis, but also right now when Judo is like, I'm going to Gigantamax myself. But yeah, it's just like the show is certainly saying something about like the fucking demonic power these freaks have.
And he starts to calm down a little bit, and he turns and carries Lena away, and they go down an elevator, and Lena starts to wake up.
They sort of run into this like huge like crowd of people who are all trying to leave, because at this point everyone's like freaking the fuck out, like the chandelier is falling, and like everyone's like, oh, this isn't a demonstration, we're gonna die here. And Lena is like, all right, time to girl boss again, because she like just like is like standing up, and she's like, uses her influence of Glemmy sort of like raising her within Xeon to basically tell all the Federation people, like, you fucking made in your bed, sit in it, like, unless you're going to be like held to treason, you have to basically stand here and accept who you sided with. And all the and like everyone just like is like, oh shit, fuck, okay. And they just like all kind of walk off, and like the soldiers, she's like, you fucking man your posts. And one's trying to like escort her out. She's like, you're supposed to be guarding here. Like Lena is just like bossing everyone around right now. It fucking rules.
And she makes up a lie about like Glimmy ordered him to escort me back to the Sadalan. Let us leave now.
And they do.
And at that time that she is leaving, Glimmy goes to Lena's room and realizes, oh shit, she lied to me again.
Oh fuck. And also, we get a...
How does this keep happening?
And then she says to Judo, Lena does, I'm such a bad girl, telling all those lies. At this rate, heaven won't want me. And I was like, uh-oh, sisters, don't say shit like that.
It gave me a flashback to that episode where Judo talked about the trials that God was putting him through.
Yeah, they're Catholic. Oh, God. And he runs out with Lena, and like there's like Xeon troops sort of holding them up. They're investigating Judo's core fighter. But before they can like actually walk up and look at them, the fucking Out-Humla's here. The big ass, the big ass Garuda class ship that they stole from Jaburo and Zeta. So we know Hayato's on board, and like it's fucking Kuraba reinforcements. Fuck yeah, let's get some Italian zest up in here.
And they're just launching gems left and right into the battlefield as backup for the Argama team.
Yes, and Judo's able to get in his core fighter, and like Glemmy runs up and is trying to stop them, but of course they're gone by then. So Glemmy gets in his Bawu, and he's like starting to fight like the different parts of the Double Zeta. And like Lena's not really doing too good. She's like, breaking a fever and sweating and like kind of passing out, and just sisters.
And Glemmy starts to like fight Ino so that they can't dock, and Rue covers for him. And Glemmy has a little freak out when he realizes that he's fighting Rue.
Mm-hmm. And eventually Judo is like trying to fly away, and he does get shot. Like, the core gets shot, and he's like kind of going down. He has like sort of like crash lands in the ocean, and like the last shot of the episode is just like the sort of panning over to see the battle like raging on in Dakar.
And that's the end of the news.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We kind of like flow directly into the next episode from there. So you want to tell me about it, Jake?
I sure do. Episode 28. Lena's Blood, Part 2. The battle continues. Pol and Mondo and the Mega Rider search for Judo, guided by Pol's new type abilities. The rest of the Gundam team head for them as well. They find Judo and Lena in the cockpit of the core, and Pol takes Lena alone in order to stop Judo from being reckless trying to protect her. When Judo is woken up, he leaves, being reckless trying to protect her. Pol and Lena fight since Pol is jealous of Lena and Judo's relationship, while she would only ever be used and tested for her cyber new type abilities. Judo calms her down and says they can all be siblings, but this is cut short when he has to return to the battle to combine the double Zeta. During the battle, Rue attacks Glimmy, but is in turn attacked by one of his lieutenants, Ametha Pol. She shoots her down, but her dwaj crashes right next to the shack Lena was in. Everybody lands to find the shack in flames and Lena presumed dead. Glimmy flies off, reconsidering all the action he's taken up to now. Rue tells Judo he has to get a hold of himself or he's going to die next. Everyone is sad.
Fucking... it's Gundam! It sure is Gundam, isn't it?
Animation Eye.
It is anime, though. Anime des. Anime des, Jake. Oh, God. It's sad. They were signposting that Lena's gonna die the whole time, but like for a while I was like, maybe she'll be able to make it out of this one. Fucking nope. And even with like the weird, a lot like again, what happens later in the episode, Judo's like doesn't really believe she's dead at first, but like, I think she's dead. But fucking regardless, this one starts out. We do see the thickest boy this side of the Mississippi, Hayato Kobayashi. He doesn't really do anything. He's just kind of flying the Humla. Like
he's just there.
He's just there to remind you, yeah, remember this thick lad? And I say, yes, I do. Thank you so much. I'll never forget him. And he's kind of he's like flying away now because he just like launches all the gyms. He's like, all right, see ya, bye.
And on the Subtlon, Haman is back in her rad outfit, asking about the enemy reinforcements, and she orders it destroyed. But Hayato does kind of a cool thing where he uses the spray from the ocean as a barrier to like disperse the beams.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. I
was like, that is so clever.
Yeah, Hayato Kawajiri. Who am I thinking of? No, you know what? Hayato Kawajiri is the name of fucking Hayato from JoJo's Part 4. Hayato Kobayashi. Hayato Kobayashi is... he's like flying low. He's like disperses a ton of Minovsky particles too. So like they're firing beams at the Aohunla, but it won't hit. They're firing missiles, but he's like way too far away and kind of like dips over the horizon line, so they can't really hit it. And Hamon's like fucking useless. So then she decides to send out August Guidon's Dryson squad, and we don't really see this happen, but we do get a little like Thor mention like, oh yeah, they're in orbit ready to deploy. So I guess they like launch some Drysons from space to like come fuck shit up on Earth. It's cool.
And then we cut to the Mega Rider where Mondo asks Pol if she can really sense where Judo is, and she focuses for a bit and is just like, that away.
She's a new type, so yes.
Are we still questioning new types, Mondo?
Yeah, you felt Judo going apeshit. You probably should know by now. And we get a scene of Beecha and L are being pinned down right now. They're like kind of hiding behind this rebel as they're fighting some Zeon suits, but some more gyms show up and like they have their base jabbers, the little like gliding things. So L like pushes one off and grabs it, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And L explains that the pilots of the Double Zeta has been shot down, and they're like, "Oh fuck, all right, go." So L and Beecha grab some base jabbers and fly off, and then we just get like again, we really don't have anything to do with August Guidon yet. We just see him and he's here to cause problems, but I don't think he has enough of a personality for me to really like get a grip on this guy. He's just kind of there so far.
Yep.
He looks kind of like, in the first shot we've seen, he looks kind of like the berries and cream guy, but evil. Like purple hair, and he doesn't have the front bangs, but like the back and sides of his hair, he's rotten berries and cream. He's past his expiry date.
That's, yeah, I didn't put, I love that.
Yeah, berries and cream, berries and cream. Let's see, what happens next?
Pol and Mondo pull up and find where Judo and Lena have washed ashore, and they pop open the cockpit, and Judo and Lena are both passed out.
Yeah, not great.
So Pol tells Mondo to run back and grab she says the medicine box, but like the first aid kit, basically.
The medicine box, the box of the medicine. It makes sense. I get it. And, Mondo goes off and, like, Pol's, like, wakes up Lena and she basically tells her, all right, we have to go. I'm going to take you alone because, like, if you're with Judo, he's going to end up getting himself killed trying to protect you. Which is, like, I'm so conflicted, right? Because half of me is like, yes, good point. Half of me is like, fucking tell Judo that. Wake him up and tell him that. You know?
Yeah, and then we come back to Mondo getting out of the Rider with the medicine box, and he waves down Rue and Ino, and they land, and they're like, okay, let's go check on Judo. And then Mondo sprays Judo in the face with a medicine like he's a Pokemon.
Yeah, he uses the super potion, and Judo restores 60 HP, and he's like, oh, I'm fine now, great.
He wakes up, and the first thing he realizes is Lena is gone, and Mondo's like, oh, yeah.
Where's my sister?
Mondo and the other two are just so nonplussed by the fact that Pol and Lena are just not there.
They're just
like, oh, yeah, she probably took her somewhere. I don't know.
I feel like they're just so used to being around Pol and her weird bullshit, they just completely ignore what she does and just, like, block her out. It's like face blindness for her entire person.
And they point out a pair of tracks heading into the forest.
When there was one set of footprints in the sand, that's when LP Pol carried Lena through the desert jungle of Dakar. And there was like a little. Let's see. Hold on. Pol takes Lena. And Runina land as well. And now, okay, we do get a quick cutaway. We do see Glemmy here now, and he's with this random girl called Amathapola. Don't know why she got a name because spoiler alert, she does not make it out of this episode. As far as I can tell. But she's blonde, which is cool. Unfortunately, she is probably last on my list of Gundam blondes because she really does exist to just, like, cause one big problem and is gone. But anyway, yeah, Amathapola's here. She's in a dodge, whatever. She's cool, I guess.
And L's group approaches, and Glemmy's group sees them and is like, oh, the Gundam team is all together. Perfect.
Yeah, let's fucking beat ass. And then we get this fucking heartbreaking scene because Pol's taking Lena to this, like, random shack, on this island, and she grabs Lena grabs a stick, like, she walks ahead, and she, like, accuses Pol of being some cyber new type freak wanting to be so close to Judo, and, oh god.
Pol's like, what? No, I'm not some weirdo.
And then Ron Howard voice, she is.
Pol finds a pipe on the ground, and she swings it at Lena's stick that she's holding.
Yeah, fucking stop fighting. The girls are fighting.
She's like, I don't have parents and siblings. That's why I want Judo. You're lucky. Judo takes care of you. Even Glemmy took care of you. All he did to me was put a creepy machine on my head every day.
So you were a cyber new type. And this scene is so fucking sad. This is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's not like a cool fight. It's like the fucking Pikachu slapping each other in the first Pokemon movie. It's like, don't make them fight! God. And Judo rolls up now, and like Pol has the pipe like to Lena's neck, and she's like asking Judo who he loves more. And it's fucking, oh my god. And like, I almost can't be mad at Pol for this, because again, she's a fucked up cyber new type. Like, she is not right in the head. So it's like, I not to hand it to her, but like, I sometimes feel like I can't necessarily fully blame her for what she's doing because she's just like completely fucked up. Like, she's the Joker, but not in a cool way.
I mean, she's just a traumatized, messed up kid who it sounds like they tore her away from her family, and just, she's only known the lab and fighting her entire life. Yeah. And
fucked up. And she's 10, by the way.
Yeah.
She's a 10-year-old girl. And like, Judo's sort of diffused the situation. He basically is like, we're all the same. Like, we can all be siblings, both Lena and you. And like, Pol sort of gets this, and like, Judo's like, this is all Glemmy's fault. And like, it sure fucking is all Glemmy's fault, that little weird freak.
He says he's the one who taught you to fight. People who act like that are why this war will never end.
Fucking has a point! And then Pol is like breaking down crying, and nobody ever treats her like a princess.
And then in the distance they hear a big explosion, and we, the audience, are brought back to the Gundam team fighting Glemmy's team. And they're not doing so hot.
No. Like, L's getting, like, shot down. Like, everyone's just, like, getting fucking blasted. There's, like, Dryson's everywhere. There's a bunch of dodges. Glemmy's in his Baowu. There's, like, fucking high-level enemies right now. It's a pretty tough fight. And Lena sort of like tells Judo to go ahead and fight. He's like, you have to take out Glemmy. Like, it's all his fault. Like, if you take out Glemmy, like, things will get a lot easier. And then she looks all like sad and dejected, but then she's like, okay, I'm going to stay back. I'm going to take care of Lena. Judo, you go fight. And like, fight so we can be together afterwards. And at this point, I felt like, yes, okay, I think Pol finally gets it.
And I was still like a little nervous, but I think that you're right. And so we cut back. I'm sorry, can you hear my dog freaking out?
No, yeah, I can hear. That's fine though. It's just
Okay.
It's just flavor. That's the chaos of the battlefield, you know.
I am home by myself, and so my dogs are in their kennels right now, and they are not too happy about it.
No, not really.
Normally they're fine, but I guess he wants to play. He just decided that
let him play, coach. Let him play, ref.
Glemmy's trying to shoot down Eno, but Judo starts shooting at him and distracts him. And Eno's like, "Hurry, we need to combine." And Judo's like, "Well, I had to drop the core base earlier."
I may or may not have ditched the core base in a random unknown location. And then Pol does at everyone in the Argama Gundam team Discord and says, "Hey, find the fucking core base." And they're like, "Oh, yes, ma'am, let's do it." And
Beecha pretty quickly finds it hanging out on the beach.
They do this weird sort of thing, like where the Mega Rider has like a harpoon rope situation system. I can't fucking talk right now. The Mega Rider shoots some ropes to like drag the core base now. This is like an interesting. This is like very like high intensity scene of them just like dragging the core base along the beach.
And we cut back to Bright, and he is approaching in the Argama, and his plan is to sink the Sadalon. But Haman is like, what if we use the city as a shield and just fly above the city so they can't risk shooting at us?
Yeah, good idea. Because as we all know, Bright certainly wouldn't ever endanger civilians during a military action. I'm looking directly into the camera right now, and we get another cut over. We see August incoming, and Lena DMs Judo to tell him the core base is incoming too. But like Glemmy and August are like sort of like, you know, double team firing on him, so they can't dock just yet. And we get a cut over where we can see Lena herself, and she has a really bad fever, and Pol is like, "Oh fuck, oh shit, dude," and basically Pol runs off to get something cool, like, you know, like a cool rag to sort of cool Lena down.
And then we come back to Bright, and he says that they don't have a choice; they have to fire the cannon at the Sadalon anyway.
And they just shoot it. Bright's like, "Fuck them kids," and he just like shoots it, and it goes over Dakar, and thankfully nothing gets hit. But it like hits the side of the Sadalon, and Haman's like, "Argama, why must you fucking torment me so?"
And then we go back to the fight, and Rue gives Judo some supporting fire so he can dock and line everything up. Mm-hmm. And he successfully combines his two pieces and orders Eno to join in.
Yeah, join the fun, buddy.
And so they transform, and August is like, "Oh nope, I'm out of here."
See ya. Yeah, August was like, "Well, the fucking Sadalon's retreated, so I do not need to be here right now. Goodbye, Mr. Toto." And
while Glemmy is distracted by arguing with August, Judo just flies up and whoop, cuts his rider in half.
Fuck yeah.
He's like, "You're too dangerous. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to do you in, Glemmy."
See ya, fucker. But Glemmy just kind of lands with a Mathipola who catches him. But then fucking as yet unproblematic Rue is here, who grabs Glemmy's Bawu, and she starts attacking him, and she's like sort of antagonizing him, but you know, and like Lena's feeling all this, and like for some reason I think Lena calls out to Rue. I do not know what the point of that one shot is, but Lena calls out to Rue, and Rue's like, "Huh." And you know, Glemmy like knocks Rue away, and Amatha attacks her, and like she's shot down. Like, you know, Rue starts fighting Mathipola for like a grand total of 5 seconds before she knocks her away and starts like firing at her with the Zeta's rifle.
Oh, you know what? I think we did miss something though.
Oh yeah,
one thing I really thought was funny before this.
Yes, let's talk about something funny before a character dies, Jake. Good idea.
Yes, let's do something funny, kind of break the tension a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
So back when Rue had Glemmy, like, you know, held up and kind of like was like about to attack him, he says, "Fine, do as you please, Rue. If you're the one who kills me, I'll be satisfied."
Oh God, you fucking freak ass.
And
be normal.
And so that's when Amatha is really able to attack her, because she hesitates and he smacks her away.
Hesitation is defeat, Sekiro.
But then Rue turns and shoots at Amatha and hits her rider, and she starts to fall, and Rue shoots and hits her a few more times. And the suit is falling right for where that shack is.
Oh!
And Pole's running back, and there's a big explosion, and everything's on fire.
Oh, sisters, I don't know if Lena's gonna be able to get out of this one.
And Glimmy says that he can feel that Judo's fighting spirit has just disappeared.
Yeah, I wonder fucking why. And cause Judo sees this happen, Pole sees this happen, and they all sort of land to fucking check out the scene, as it were.
And Judo runs up to Pole, who is just on her knees crying, and he's like, "Where's Lena?" She's like, "She was sleeping in there." "But why did you leave her? You said you wouldn't leave her."
And Pole's she explains "Oh, she has a fever. I went out to get a cool rag." And I think Judo realizes oh, it's not her fault. And Judo finds Lena's shoe in the wreckage, and fucking Glemmy is here now. And Glemmy has a gun, and he's aiming at them, and he sees Pole, and Glemmy's what the fuck happened? And Pole's refusing to go back, and he says that Lena's dead, and fucking Judo's refusing. Judo's she's not dead. She must have escaped somehow, and He tells Glemmy how Haman shot her before they tried to escape, and this whole fucking situation. And it's just Glemmy's fucking, I leave, and this is what you freaks get up to.
And Glemmy has a shitty line. He's like, "Well, then why did you leave her alone?" "Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you ran up and started attacking us, asshole."
You fucking, Glemmy, you kidnapped a 10-year-old. You really do not get a say in any of this.
And he sees the rest of his troops leaving, and so he's like, "Well, I better get out of here before I'm surrounded by y'all."
Yeesh. And he just asks Pole, he's like, "Hey, Pole, want to come back with me?" Pole's like, "Fuck you." And Glemmy's like, "All right, fair enough, goodbye."
Yeah, she's like, "Fuck you, I hate you."
And Glemmy's like, "Yeah, I fucking can't blame you." And Glemmy gets a weird sort of almost an introspective moment where Glemmy is like, "What have I been doing all this time?" He thinks about raising Lena and letting Pole go, and I genuinely don't know. I don't think it's Glemmy necessarily regretting his actions, but I think it's more Glemmy's I need to fucking kick up a notch if I have to do whatever schemes I'm up to that we don't know yet, but we know exist in the first place, because Glemmy's definitely scheming something,
Yeah.
That was my takeaway of Glemmy's okay, I have to continue being a bastard, but even more so now.
And after Glemmy flies away, everybody's telling Judah that they have to leave. He's like, "I can't. She might still be alive out there somewhere."
And this scene fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does. Ooh, it made me so mad. Rue just takes the shoe out of his hand and throws it into the fire. And they fight about what he should do.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls him a wimp and says that he has to carry on. And I'm like, bro.
His sister died 10 minutes ago. What the fuck?
Yeah. And Pole's like, "Let's just go back to the Argama. I know that I'll never be able to take Lena's place, but I can be a little sister for you. I can help take care of you."
And Pole, no, read the fucking room, because Judah just pushes her head away, and she's squats down, starts sobbing even harder, and he's crying, and just the episode ends with this fucking just tragic scene of them all staring at the burning hut that Lena's body is presumably inside. Fucking, oh my god. I know that Gundam does character deaths, but beans!
So much.
It's much. God, I mean, I know the episode is called Lena's Blood, but fucking, yikes, Not great. Doesn't feel too good.
And so now that we near the end of the episode, we come to Jake's theory time. I teased out a little bit.
Please
I had a little bit of that. So the last time that we see Lena having a new type moment, she sort of starts to sit up a little bit.
Oh.
And then her shoe is outside.
Why would her shoe have been outside? That's okay.
I don't think she's dead. I think she got out of there.
Huh.
I think she got up and ran the fuck away. I think she is collapsed somewhere, and I think that we're going to see her later. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that she got out of there.
Whew, okay, I am very interested in this, because I am of the mind that Lena fucking beefed it. I don't. I'm trying to think what the show would do vis-a-vis Lena being alive after we thought that she was dead. because I wonder what resolution we'd get from that if Judo's like, I grieved for you and you're back, and it's like, I'm happy and sad and mad that I thought you were dead, and I don't know. Because we are more than halfway through the show at this point, obviously. We have, I think, 6 more episodes to go after this one, which is, 18 episodes of the actual show, so we have, fucking plenty of,
I was like,
shit
wait,
to get
really?
through. Yeah, no. Yeah, the show's about to end. No, I'm definitely going to put a pin in that because I really want to see, like, if we're going to get some teaser at some point of, like, yeah, Lena's not dead. I don't know.
And, like, there's that old rule of, like, it's, I mostly see it in comic books and stuff, but there's that, like, that tropey rule of no corpse, no death.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, like, we don't always, I feel like for Gundam, we don't really always get a corpse because, I mean, a lot of it's in space. But, like, they definitely... I've noticed that, you know what? Because, like, let me think. At the end of Zeta, we know Char's alive because there's a fucking movie called Char's Counterattack. But even so, you do, I mean, I guess it's a little more obvious with that because you see the Hyakushiki and you see that the cockpit's open. But, like, yeah, I feel like if a character dies, you see them die, So I don't know. I'm very much like, I don't know what to believe on this one.
And this hops into the next episode a little bit for the theory, but they do say that they didn't give him time to look. They had to get out of there immediately.
True.
So he didn't even have time to look for her.
Oh, shit, Jake. Oh, I don't know, man. You might be onto something here.
I think that she's out there somewhere.
Where's Lena? Oh man. Okay. All right. I'm definitely putting a pin in that because I really am like I want to explore this more. Oh, that's exciting. Good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, especially because Gundam shows always end up back in space, so they gotta reunite with her pretty soon. But I feel like like she's got to be there somewhere.
Fuck. Well,
I'm just hopeful with that beyond hope, but like
yeah. Well, I'm rotating it in my mind either way, so we will. We'll cross that bridge one way or another when we get there, or we just never mention Lena again. Who knows? Shall we get on to the last episode of this week, Jake?
Absolutely.
All right, this one's it's not really lighter in tone. It's fucking maybe even more frustrating than this one. It is called Episode 29, Runaway Rue. In this episode, everyone is back aboard the Argama, but Judo is still in shock and refuses to leave the core fighter. Rue is still mad at Judo and wants him to get over it and get back to normal. Bicha, of all people, defends him, but Rue runs off to forcibly open the cockpit. She finds Judo in shock in the cockpit with a broken dashboard, but he runs off as she tries to reason with him again. Pull, once again, tells Judo that she'll try to be his little sister, even though it isn't the same. Rue and Bicha and Mondo continue to argue when the Argama gets the alarm for battle. They need to stop Glemmy and August's Drysons from attacking a Krabba base in a town called El Golia. Rue flies off on her own and the team sorties, including Judo. Bicha decides to use Rue's core as a shield so Glemmy won't shoot at them, and he is able to destroy Glemmy's Bawu, but not before Rue can escape, leaving Glemmy stranded to wander the desert alone. The team drive off the Drysons and make it back to the Argama without Rue, as she continues to fly the desert alone as Glemmy watches from the ground. A lot fucking happens in this one.
Ooh, the first two were difficult, but this one was frustrating.
Yeah, in an entirely different way. And like you said, this one starts out, Judo's narrating, they had to return to the Argama so quickly they couldn't even find Lena's body. What could it possibly mean?
And yeah, so we kind of start off after his little explanation with Astonage like towing in the core fighter. Judo landed on the Argama and then just stopped. He didn't even bring it inside.
Yeah, he like landed in pieces and didn't like bother. Yeah, he's just there. He just doesn't give a shit. And Astronaut has to get in like the fucking like forklift looking thing. And like everyone's like very, very tired. It's clearly very early in the morning, like 6 a.m. probably. And just like,
oh yeah, I'm sure nobody has slept yet.
No, yeah, they've been awake since last night because the whole fucking battle and everything. And we get this cute little scene. We see Bicha and Mondo, and they're like talking about the Hyakushiki, and Bicha's like, oh, the leg is so tight. And like, they're actually like kind of taking care of it and getting into it and like caring about it, which is I'm like, oh shit, they're like kind of pulling their weight now, aren't they?
Yeah, and like, I can't remember if this is now or the second time, but they say that they need to like oil the knee, and they find out that they have like the wrong type of oil for it, and he gets frustrated because it's not going to be good for it. I was like, aw.
I used to be a warrior like you until I got the wrong oil on my knee. Remember that fucking joke from 10 years ago?
Oh my god.
Skyrim came out in 2011. What the fuck? Let's see. Rue is still rude as hell.
Hey.
Still mad about Judo being in chalk, and Ella's like completely on her ass about it. And like, you know, Ella's like, he fucking lost his sister last night. What the fuck, Rue?
And she just doesn't understand how he can't just get over it.
Yeah, like, you know, everyone dies, so fucking get over it. If Rue is being like a little too Reddit for my taste right now.
And Pol explains that like Judo can't feel Lena at all through his like new typeness. When even like before he could feel her just a little bit, like almost always, he can't feel her at all right now. And it is just affecting him greatly. Like he feels like an emptiness inside because it's just missing that connection. I still hold true to my theory though. Hello?
My mic is muted. Haha.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh crap, did my internet go out or something?
No, you're good. But yeah, no, it's like, because, you know, we get that, and then Elle's talking to Rue about how Judo's new type abilities are so much stronger now. He can like so much more viscerally feel Lena's death. So it might be that he's like still like in a funk and it's like, you know, totally shocked that he like can't even like really use his new type abilities like that. So it could be that she's still out there and he's just like not able to reach out to her in that way.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. But like, yeah. And then Rue is like, well, okay, maybe he's not a full new type yet. So he's just drowning in his emotions and like, I'm going to open his eyes for him. And then like the double Zeta character rankings are bouncing all over the place because then Bicha comes to Judo's rescue now.
Yeah, Bicha, of all people, is like, hey, maybe leave him alone. He needs time by himself to heal.
I know, it's like, oh shit, Bicha, let's fucking go!
Like, who would have expected Bicha to have any emotional intelligence whatsoever?
I know! And yeah, he's arguing with Rue, and, you know, they walk off or whatever. And, like, we get another scene of, like, Mondo carrying petroleum jelly, and he's like, yeah, they told me to use this instead. And Elle's like, why are they caring so much about things? It's just, like, really funny to see that, like, literally no one expected Beach and Mondo to, like, pull their weight around here.
No one ever thought they'd give a shit about anything. And it's, you'll love to see them.
No, I didn't either, so whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. So this is when Rue makes it to the cockpit.
Pol tries to stop her and says that they need to wait for him to come out on his own. And Rue's like, we don't need a sad Judo, we need a fighting Judo.
Yeah, and, like, she's like, you know, they're trying to hold her back, but she ends up, like, pressing the open button on the cockpit, and, like, she's, like, kind of shocked because we see Judo, which is, like, kind of, like, sitting there staring, and, like, the dashboard is cracked, and his, like, hands are all, like, beaten up, and he's just like, oh, shit, he's fucking mad right now.
And, she urges him to get out of the cockpit, but he is just totally unresponsive.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, I didn't know you were this kind of guy. Suck it up. Lots of people die in war. Like,
what fucking... God, Rue? Come on! Read the room.
And Pol says this has... Wait, what does that even mean? I just watched this episode. I don't remember what that note means. But the Rue says that, you know, we're in a war. And that word gets some movement from him.
War.
And so she notices that and she tells him to use his anger to rediscover his will to fight.
Yeah, and fucking...
And again, like, his sister hasn't even been dead, in air quotes, for like 12 hours yet, even.
Yeah, like, give him some time at least. Like, maybe if he was like this, you know, a fucking long-ass time down the line, but this is a fresh wound. And eventually Judo's, like, tries to, like, fucking run away, and he's just, like, so mad, but, like, Asinage, like, just football tackles him and restrains him.
And she says, I guess I thought too highly of you. And then just sit there crying like a baby then.
Yeah, Rue's no longer valid. I think Rue is canceled.
And I was like, ooh, if they try to, like, make us sympathize with her for feeling this way, I am not going to have it.
I mean, they kind of do, unfortunately. We'll get there. And then we cut away, and this scene's kind of funny. And it's just Haman and Glemmy in the salon looking at, like, a fucking, like, photo slideshow. not even of anything. It's, like, flowers and mountains and just, like, textures. And just, like, what the fuck are you doing?
I didn't... And then she just, like, by the way, what happened to that girl, Lena? Just wondering.
She's a child.
Do those words truly come from your heart, Glemmy?
He's like, you're fucking ice cold, my man. Oh, my God.
And then after that little weird exchange, she turns the lights on, turns the slideshow off, and
Glem's like, fuck, bright, God.
She's like, I'm going to go seize the Titans facilities, and I want you to seize the Krabas facilities.
Yeah. And he's like facing away from her right now. He's facing the wall and he's like, yes, ma'am. And like he kind of like does this weird grimace when she orders him to take all the Krabba facilities. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's Glemmy. Again, I'm still not sure. I don't know if it's Glemmy being like, fuck, I regret being what I am in Neo Zeon, or if it's Glemmy being like, fuck, I won't be able to like take on my plans if I'm working for Herman all this time. Either way, you know, it's one or the other, I guess.
Yeah. God, I can't wait to see what he's up to.
I know! What's his deal? I like him a lot. Let's see. We cut over again. We're on the Argama. Everyone's like Asinaj and Pull and Rue and like one other guy are like carrying Judo around. And Bright's like, can you like fucking give him a break? Just let him go.
And Judo says, nobody understands how I feel right now. And Pull's like, I do. I can't fully take Lena's place, but I'll try. And I'm like, just lay off a minute, kid.
You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it, Pull. But like, Judo's like, I don't know. I think this one like works on Judo, and like Judo kind of like holds her and like presses his forehead against hers, and she's like, oh shit, like the guy just like needs a shoulder to cry on right now. I think.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I appreciate that. Like, I feel like Pull is starting to sort of get the situation where she's like half it's like, okay, read the room, Pull. You know, you keep on saying that you know you're not a suitable replacement, so stop trying to say that you're a replacement. But at the same time, I feel like Pull sort of realizes that Judo maybe does actually just need someone to like, you know, be close to him and like just like be nothing but nice to him, especially after Rue is like trying to kick him all the time. I don't know. This episode really, really endeared me to Pull.
Me too. Like you said, she's finally is starting to get it, and
yeah,
it makes her it makes her work a lot better for me.
Yeah, what she gets that emotional intelligence of a fucking 10-year-old. But yeah, we cut over again. Glemmy's talking to August, and they gotta take Algolia in Algeria. So it's like a Krabba base. They gotta do it for the Argama can before the Argama can intercept them. And then Glemmy says some fucking weird bat shit. He says, "Do as Venus pleases, and she will take Mars with her." What?
And August is like, "You're stupid, but whatever. I'm just gonna ignore that."
Man, what kind of fucking weed did they give you on Axis, dude? And it's like, I kind of get it. I feel like that's Glemmy basically saying out loud, I am working with Haman in order to further my own goals secretly, and no one knows it. And everyone's like, all right, well, fucking whatever, dude. Yeah, sure, get in your weird Bawu robot. You're nutter. Okay, bye-bye. You know? You can, if you act weird as hell, it's like, I saw a tweet that says, if you're hot and insane, you can do literally anything. It's like, yeah, fucking it's true for like half of the Gundam characters.
So, yeah, August like walks away thinking that Glemmy's a fool, but he's like, this mission will help me be seen more favorably in Haman's eyes, so I will do it.
I mean, hey, we've seen August for 2 episodes now, which is more than most of the Neo Zeon goons, so maybe August is going to be important in Haman's eyes, we could fucking possibly say.
And so they launch, and we cut back over to the Argama. And Bija and Mondo are chatting, just with each other, that Rue was just being way too hard on him earlier. That's really, like, fucked up.
Fucked up, dude! And speak for the devil. Rue's here, and she's like 2 levels up on the hangar, and she's like, "Yo, what's up, Bicha?" And she like drops a wrench, and she's like, "Can you toss it back to me?" And he does it like right out of reach, so she tries to go for it, and like scrambles and almost falls off. She's like, "Did you do it on purpose?" And Mondo's like, "Oh, you fucking pissed her off now." And Bicha's like, "Yeah, according to Keikaku."
And she comes downstairs to get the wrench herself and to yell at them a little bit. And Bicha says this great line. He says, "You shouldn't have stomped on a miserable guy's heart with your muddy shoes."
Yeah, fucking get her ass. I love that line. Oh god, it is with a heavy heart that Beach has shot up my Double Zeta character rankings.
He is all over the place.
Like, yeah, and it's like, he's the wild card. He's the Charlie Kelly of the group. I guess that's probably more Mondo. Beach is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have enough time in the day to assign It's Always Sunny characters to all the Double Zeta crew. But Rue's being a real Dennis right now.
She says something about like, talk about a warped way to show support for your friend. And I'm like,
God, these people are freaks. All these people are freaks.
And I was like, I don't think so. They're actively bullying the bully, so it's good. You know, it's not a warped way. It's good.
It's double jeopardy. And he tells her that she doesn't get it because she's not from Shangri-La like everyone else is. And it's like, you're not really friends with them like they all are. They're like childhood friends, presumably, you know. And Rue's been here for a couple months. And then fucking My nice good favorite boy Eno is like, well, actually, she has a point. If he develops his new type abilities further, he can be an asset for Ayug. Can you fuck off? And Mondo's like, since when did you start licking Ayug's boots? And I'm like, yeah, Eno, since when did you start licking Ayug's boots? Can you get fuck off?
It felt super out of character.
I know it. I genuinely, the writer's like, oh fuck, we need a devil's advocate because we know no one's going to side with Rue in character. Like, maybe Astanaj could be the one who's like, I don't know, Rue has a point because he's like an actual member of Ayug. It did not need to be Eno. Poor Eno. Then like Mondo were just like start like fist fighting.
Yeah,
they're just having a brawl.
And Mondo, yeah, it's kind of cool because like he tries to punch her. And you can tell that she's had actual combat training, unlike these kids, because she just easily like pushes it away and like just super like deflects the path of the blow and like smacks him and like throws him away.
Well, you think about it, Rue, her base of operations before this was La Vie en Rose, so she was around Wong all the time, so she had to be able to basically, she had to have hand training to fight that fucking nasty freak 25-year-old man. I hate Wong so fucking much. Wong is 25. I'll never get over it. It's awful, truly.
I hate Wong.
I hate Wong. Wong fucking sucks. Can we just like blow up La Vie en Rose, please? Anyway, so we cut over to the bridge where Bright gets the alarm. It's like, they get a transmission and Kithron tells him, like, yo, we got to go to Elgolia because the fucking Xenon's attacking a Krabba base. And Bright's like, let's fucking go, baby.
And so everybody is to battle stations. And hearing this, Eno breaks up their fight. And then Rue just runs and hops to one of the core fighters. And they're like, hey, that's not where you're supposed to go during battle stations. What are you doing?
She don't care. She just goes.
And they quickly decide that, she is just going AWOL. Okay.
All right, fucking, I guess. And then very shortly after everyone else sorties, Beach is in the Minion, Elves in the Zeta, Mondo's in the Mark II, and even Judo is here in the core. And Aston's is like, are you good? And Judo's basically says, like, yeah, like, it's better than sitting in my room moping. And Aston's just like, yeah, fucking is. He, like, gives him the thumbs up. He's like, hell yeah, buddy, go get him, Tiger.
And Eno goes to get in, like, the core base, and he's gonna, like, launch with Judo. Mm-hmm. And as Judo's about to launch, he has, like, a flashback of Pol trying to cheer him up.
Yeah. I like this a lot.
It was really sweet.
What does Pol say to Judo here?
I didn't write it down.
Okay. In the flashback, Pol basically telling him, like, he's not himself if he's not cheerful. Like, Judo, I think she says, like, in third person to him, Judo isn't Judo if he's not being cheerful. And, like, he kind of, like, agrees with her in her head and, like, in his head, and he flies off. It's like, I don't think Judo should be pushing himself to get over this so quickly, but, like, I appreciate that he's, like, sort of, like, starting to see Pol's side of things, too. It's like, okay, yeah, like, I'm the goofball, I'm the jokester guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't want him to be pushing himself like this, but I'm glad that he's actually, he has the emotional intelligence of all this situation to kind of understand the situation he's in.
And, Gundam has definitely never had anybody shrug off their feelings and then have repercussions later. That definitely can't be something that'll happen.
It's not like a theme of almost every single show in the entire series, who could possibly say? But yeah, he flies off, and we see Rue, who's like already flying ahead. She sees Elgolia, but she's attacked by all the Drysons and August's squad, and like, they're just fucking, she can't really fight 3 Drysons at once. Maybe 4, I don't remember how many there are.
But yeah, she's doing her best to evade fire, and then I think it was the Zeta shows up and saves her.
Yeah, L flies away, or flies up in the Zeta, and she's in Dorito mode, and Glemmy like sort of orders the Drysons to go ahead to attack the Krabba base while he basically flies off to go after Rue. Because they're like stand users. They're like gravitating towards each other on the battlefield.
And then Bicha comes up with just this genius plan.
Oh my god. While I think Bicha is higher ranked than Rue in this episode, this plan's a little bit much, my guy.
Yeah. So he decides that, like, hey, Glemmy has like a thing for Rue. So what if we use Rue as a shield since she's kind of on our shit list right now?
Let's put Rue in danger. Use her as a fucking human shield because she deserves it. Narrator's note, she does not deserve this.
And honestly, like when he said that, like use her as a shield, I thought it was going to be kind of like other moments in the show where they've just kind of put something between them and the enemy. Like, I'm going to use this ship as a shield, or I'm going to use so-and-so as a shield. But like last episode where she was going to use the city by just like being above it.
being a but yeah, no, yeah, we get like a fucking yakety sax montage of Beecha and Mondo trying to physically grab Rue in the core fighter while she tries to fly away from them. She's like, what the fuck are you freaks doing to me?
And Beecha finally catches it and is holding it up like a goddamn shield and flies straight for Glimmy.
Yeah, Glemmy sees it, he's like, oh, this fucking sucks, dude, because Glemmy does not, he won't engage with this. He's not going to shoot because he's, it's Rue. He would never shoot at Rue, so the plan is actually working.
And he tries to run away, but they keep chasing him. So he eventually transforms and lands.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beecha tackles him, slamming the core fighter into the Balwoo's chest.
Yeah, that was fucking a lot. Like, Beecha, don't do that. Oh my god, please. Because he just basically shoves Rue into Glemmy and crashes into him. And then Rue is gets out. She's Rue's like, fuck this, fuck you all. She's runs away from the core fighter.
She's like, yeah, I'm not about this.
And this distracts Glemmy enough. And Beach is like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. And Beach just stabs the Baowu with a beam saber.
And then Glemmy's like, oh, crap. And he exits the Baowu and he starts running after Rue.
Mm-hmm.
And the Baowu goes boom.
Baowu goes Baowu, boom. Baowu. Rue takes off and Glemmy is literally face planted into the ground. It's like, so long, suckers, I say as I rev up my core fighter. When the sand clears, Glemmy Toto is lying dead in the desert.
And he's just kind of regretting his life right now.
He says specifically, I swore I would abandon the bloom of my youth, and the Baowu blows up again.
Yeah. It wasn't big enough last time.
Yeah, well, remember, it's in two halves. It's the attacker and then the nutter. And the nutter is the bigger explosion. It's a metaphor, you see. And then the Gundam team sort of is just standing there staring at this, and Beach is like, whew, you reap what you sow, women are scary. And L is like, that is not the takeaway here, my guy.
And then as they're chatting, Bright radios them. He's like, why are you just standing around? Get to Ogolia at once.
They're bombing the fucking city. And it's like, oh yeah, they were fucking under attack.
Oh yeah, we had a job. Whoops.
I forgot about that. And they're, they go back. But Judo and Ino are still there. They're already at Algolia, and they're fighting, and Pull feels the pain from his aura. And then this part, I'm just like, oh god, I fucking hate this. Because Judo remembers Rue's words to him to rediscover his will to fight. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to go sicko mode now. And Judo is tactically just fucking, not even transforming the core, just firing from the core fighter and blowing up the Drysons.
He's doing a damn good job.
Yeah, he takes out 2 or 3 of them, I think. He's just fucking, he's he's not ape shit. He's just it's what's the word? Contained rage right now.
And so August sees the Gundam team coming, and he's like, okay, we're going to retreat. We've already accomplished our goal, and we're not going to fight that.
fuck them kids. And he flies off. And Judo wants to fall. And in this part, I was very surprised at Judo's restraint, because he wants to fly off, and everyone's like, don't follow them too far. We have to fucking put out the fires in this town. And yeah, to Judo's credit, he does not go off and fly after them. And I was like, really, really thought he was gonna, because, that's what Amuro would do. That's what Camille would do. But I feel like it's interesting to me that Judo, despite being the youngest of the 3 of them, is able to have the emotional intelligence to be okay, I understand that there are more pressing needs right now. This really is the emotional intelligence episode, isn't it?
And I mean, honestly, you said, the other 2 would have, and I think an earlier Judo would have also. I don't think that, I think Judo near the beginning of the show probably wouldn't have stayed around either.
No, absolutely, you're right. Yeah, this is Judo after going through capital C, capital D character development. Not necessarily a positive outcome of that, but an outcome nonetheless. It's art is meant to elicit an emotional response. Whether that's a good or bad emotional response is up to the viewer. Let's see what happens next.
We see Glimmy sitting out alone in the desert, just in some shade under a rock, and he kind of cries out in agony and frustration. Yeah. And then we time skip August. A little
bit. He sees August flying away. He's like, "Oh, you fucker!" Because August is like, "Glemmy, we don't know what the fuck Glemmy's doing. Let's just ditch that fucking dude." And they do. And Glemmy's in the desert right now. And yeah, we cut back over to the Argama. They're all regrouped except Rue is not there. Of course, they realize that Rue ran off with the core fighter, and Bright's like, let's fucking punish her. And they're like, whoa, shit, dude, I don't know about that. And Bright's like, she stole military hardware.
And he's like, I don't care that she left. I don't care about her specifically leaving. I care that we don't have the core fighter anymore.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and fucking... Ugh.
And Judo and them are still upset. And I was like, that's kind of surprising just because, she was so in your shit list earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that they're not mad at her, too.
Yeah, no, because we sort of learned from Ino that Bicha and Mondo were like, Judo asked Judo asked Ino, was like, were Bicha and Mondo on her case? And they're like, yeah. And she's like, okay, it's my responsibility then. So it's like, Judo is like really trying to be the adult in the room right now, being like, it's basically my fault that Bicha and Mondo picked on Rue enough for Rue to fuck off because I was so sad about my sister dying yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm like, Judo, that is not the case, my dude. It is not
you don't
your responsibility.
You don't need to take responsibility for this one, I think, Chief.
Yeah, it is her fault that people got mad at her for being an asshole.
Yeah, and then the last sort of scene of the episode, Rue is flying off. It's like sunset in the desert now, and she's sort of like thing to Judo. She's like, I don't want you to give into despair. Discover your fighting spirit. Blah blah blah. Basically the same shit she said before, but like in a slightly more sympathetic, positive way, I guess.
Yeah. So I wrote it down because I thought it was a good.
Oh
quote.
Yeah, hit me.
She goes, nothing is born from sadness, Judo. You have to fight because that will help you to keep living. Don't let sadness beat you, Judo. And I was like, hey, maybe if you said that earlier.
Yeah.
Other than,
God, Rue, please.
But Glimmy sees the core fighter overhead, and he's like, oh, I wonder if that's Rue. I wonder if that's Rue up there. Just
Ron Howard voice. It was.
And she flies off into the sunset, and we get another very pretty end screen.
Yeah, and those were episodes. Fucking good God.
Hoo-wee.
And I tell you what, Jake, I just did not even bother with an episode segment today. Half because these episodes were, took quite a bit out of me, and half because I had so much Pokemon to do this weekend. This podcast recording is sandwiched by a battle on either end of it, so I was just like, fucking whatever.
Oh, goodness.
The listeners will have to deal with just the sadness of Lena Ashta dying, and not, me talking about a funny, voice actor talk about Paul Blart or whatever the fuck. It's fine. I guess. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I don't know what I was gonna say actually.
I'm thinking, do you have a Gunpla update, Jake? That can be a segment if we have one.
I do not. I have not been able to have much time to work on my Gunpla lately. So my double Zeta is still torso and arms and head only.
Okay, well, it's kind of like how it was at the beginning of this episode, just in pieces on the deck, so it's fine.
Yeah,
It's diegetic.
Yeah.
Well, mine is I built my Wodan pod from Build Fighters Try, and in the same vein, I built my Turn A Gundam because that's where Wodan was originally from. That was a fun build. It's very different because it's like the design is just so radically different. Like, it's not built like a traditional Gundam is. I mean, you build it in the same sort of way, but like just the shape of the pieces and everything is like very, very strange and different, especially the legs. The legs are very funky to put together and articulate in a very strange way that I really appreciated as I built it.
I'm thinking about how the Turn A like just looks, and I hadn't thought about how the Gunpla would be, but yeah, I bet that's now I want to build it. I've never even watched Turn A, but I'm like, I want to build this because it'll be fun.
Yeah,
that seems neat.
I want to say it was like pretty cheap from USA Gundam Store, like $16-17 or something. So
hell yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, that was that's the Gunpla update. There's your segment. I'll feed you scraps this week. Maybe next week I'll have a bigger meal for you. Well, I guess there's not much else to talk about. But Jake, I would like to know, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Gatekeep. You can also find me on a podcast, Most Foul, where my wife and I are reading through the Artemis Fowl books, and they are, the podcast is actually coming out again, so that's pretty exciting. We are going to be recording the second episode of the second book later today, and then you can also catch me on Hearts Against Balance, a Kingdom Hearts inspired actual play podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Where can we find you, Max?
I am on Twitter at MaxyBajillion. I have some other podcasts, including Pod of Greed, the world's #1 and only Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast sponsored by Kaiba Corp. That is on Twitter at Pod of Greedcast. We are beginning next week the Shadow Riders arc of GX. Once again, I will reiterate, GX is a better show than Duel Monsters is, and I have come to this conclusion halfway through Season 1, which is fucking insane that the quality is that good.
That's wild.
Yeah, right. And also, I have another show called Slappers Only, a video game music showdown podcast. That is at slappersonlypod.com or twitter.com/slappersonlypod. I believe when this episode goes up, we will have just recorded our episode on a little bug game called Hollow Knight, my second favorite game of all time. I'm so fucking excited to talk about Christopher Larkin's good bug music.
I need to finish that game. I have started it, but I have not beat it yet.
It's such a
so
good game,
fun.
Jake.
I'm super early in and I'm loving it.
I like do 100% run that game like about every 6 months. So I'm on like my like 5th playthrough right now that I'm playing for the pod. I mean, I played it before the pod, before I decided to do it for the pod because my co-host Jordan was playing it, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm inspired now. It's like the rule of the universe where if you see someone playing Hollow Knight, you also have to play Hollow Knight. Good fucking gameplay. It's like $15 on Switch. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I own it on Switch. And then like the next month, PlayStation Network put it out for free.
Yeah.
So now I own it on Switch and PlayStation Network, and I was like, hell yeah.
My playthrough's on PSN right now because I can get some fucking trophies out of this bad boy.
Hell yeah.
Replay it for the 5th time. Might as well get something else out of it.
Exactly.
That's good shit. And this podcast is on the Noisepace Network. You can go to noisepace.xyz to catch this and many, many more shows, including special great snacks about a very wonderful anime called Jujutsu Kaisen that I started watching last night, and I am truly loving it. It has given me actual belly laughs. Very, very, very funny show. Incredible animation. Good shit. Check that one out. Check all the other shows out. Nightmare and Air about creepypastas. Love it. Podcasting 2021. Mwah. Delicious. Nummy, nummy. What else?
Whose turn is it for Robot of the Week?
I want to say it's mine because I think it's like the person who does the intro does the robot.
I think I did Mega Man Zero last week.
You did, yeah. You did Zero last week. Yes.
So okay. Max, you got a Robot of the Week for us?
I am expanding the outer limits of my mind to think of what my Robot of the Week is, and I tell you what, Jake, my Robot of the Week is Bender from Futurama.
Oh.
It's the go-to, and I think that's just like the pod lore, where if you can't think of anything, you have to go to Bender from Futurama. It's like the fucking 5th time that fool's been brought, but you know what? A crowd favorite. We love it.
I've considered bringing him a couple times, but...
Okay, good. I'm sure we'll get at least one more Bender from this season series, whatever. All right, Jake. To close this one out, hopefully next week will be better. Fingers crossed. I don't necessarily expect it to be because I think we're, in the sad part of Double Zeta. But regardless, as we always say in the words of our ancestors, war is bad.
Wow. Cool robot.
Good night, new types.
Toodles.